In the face of pictures from hospitals in Italy and reports from China of the number of people who were dying from this disease, this House gave the government untrammelled power in this Act in order to take action to protect the public. But I've got to say, Minister, that power has been used in a way which has frustrated many across the country. People's ability to work, their ability to socialise, their ability to go to school, their ability to travel has been affected. And often the measures taken have been seen as illogical, inconsistent, contradictory and damaging unnecessarily.
On that point, very quickly, one of the issues that's come to my attention, and the emails have been enormous, and that's to do with the vaccines and the enforcement of vaccines on those people who don't wish to have them. I personally would take it, but others won't. Does the honourable gentleman agree that when it comes to vaccines, it should be choice only?
Well, of course, that's an issue which the government is going to have to address in the future if ever a vaccine is found. But the important thing is this, that the frustration which many in the public are experiencing at present, I believe it might not have been totally wiped out, but it certainly there would have been far more scrutiny if this House had the ability not just to listen to statements or ask questions, but actually had the real sanction that if the Minister did not make a consistent and a competent case for the measures which he was introducing, they could be voted down. And that's why the demand that there be effective scrutiny by this House is important. And I've got to say, Minister, as I've listened to what you've said, I'm not convinced that we're going to see that effective scrutiny. Because, if I heard you right, first of all, it would only be for matters which are significant. Now, who will make the judgment as to whether the issue is significant? I can tell you, if I own a business and it's decided it could be closed down, that's significant. Yet we don't know who's going to make that final decision. It'll only be for issues which are national. There are 16 million people currently who are affected by a range of local decisions and local restrictions. That to me is as bad. Half the nation or half of the country is being affected. Yet, according to your own definition today, Minister, that would not be covered because it would not be a national decision. And of course, it's where it is possible. And, I suppose if the government wishes to escape scrutiny in this, we can always say, but this has suddenly emerged, even though the data could have been collected days and days before. So when will it be, who's going to decide that it is possible to have the time to do this? And I will give way, yeah.
As ever, my honourable friend makes the most powerful points. Would he agree with me that perhaps a special committee to decide what is significant, do lots of locals make a national, would be a good way forward so we can decide what should be debated in this House and what can be left properly to ministers to decide on a regular and rapid basis?
To me, to try and get as many members in as possible. Please, let's try and make sure we do get time for others. Sammy Wilson.
It certainly shouldn't be left to those who have wanted to rush through decisions and who in the past have wanted to escape scrutiny because the decisions have been illogical and inconsistent and people can't understand them. And there have been even some of those who have made the decisions don't understand them and sometimes have a different interpretation. And this is not just about MPs having a sense of their own importance. This is important if the measures are going to have acceptance amongst the public. Because that kind of scrutiny, where there's a final vote, at the end, at least, if we were not convinced that the measures were necessary, if we were not convinced that they weren't going to have disproportionate damaging effects, if we weren't convinced that they would actually work, if we weren't convinced that the public wouldn't understand them, then of course we would have the right to say, Minister, you can't proceed with them, you've got to we have the opportunity to vote them down. And for that reason, I think that what we've heard from the Minister today, and for those reasons, I don't think we have had a convincing assurance from the Minister as to when we would have that kind of role. And if we don't have that kind of role, then I don't think that we should be supporting the continuation of these kind of measures.